I've been hearing rumors about stability bunkers being stronger than ever now. Is it true? I also heard something about the half wall not needing to be upgraded. That can't be true though, because they would be... Oh my word. That can't be real. Let's test it. So this classical bunker design was an easy raid after I showed how to raid through it very easily using Explo, and instant rockets were always able to break the twig. But I'll tell you what, the HP, it's staying at 100%, so... They're back. We'll start off with one square on the floor and turn it into a 2x2. We'll want to wall off all the sides except for this one. Place a wall frame both here and here. Now I know this looks weird, but it's the only way to keep the very first footprint you put down cheap enough to be viable. The TC goes in this corner and then the roof tiles. From the outside, we have a very crazy looking base, but it is functional. You will want to get past this stage as fast as possible, so let's go ahead and build out the bunker entrance until it's sealed by some doors. We want to enclose the high foundations with half walls, seal the top of the 2x2, and add a jump up platform with a triangle. This addition can now be walled in with an entrance frame both here and here. From the floor, we'll add a foundation with a wall frame. A double door with the furnace will be a temporary jump up here. Our roof access is here, and we can then enclose the rest of this room. You want to expand past this as soon as you can, but for the time, I would suggest entering from the bottom and leaving from the top. Adding a door to this frame and another one behind it makes the raid cost from all directions about the same. You could put a nifty trap here, and then to finish our bunker entrance, we'll double stack half walls and then break the bottom one. Although it is made out of only stone, at this time we do have a working stability bunker. From the outside, we still looking a bit weird, but progress has been made. So how does one use a stability bunker? Well, first, let's close it. We'll add a twig half wall here and build a triangle on top of it. This triangle gets upgraded to whatever the rest of your bunker is. Right now it's stone, so stone it is. Now raiders can only see a wall and would have to raid through a wall to go any further. This effect gets stronger the higher building grade material you use, but as the owner, when you spawn on your sleeping bag, you'll only have to break this twig wall to get out. Now the top of these foundations could be soft side picked, but we'll fix that very soon. Now this room contains both our TC and our main loot. At this time, you probably won't have the materials to do the whole build, but I'd like to demonstrate the whole thing so that you know how to progress through it. Both the level 1 and level 2 can go here. The 2 can fit a small box under it. Place a twig half wall because we're going to need some shelving here and here, both of which should be upgraded to stone. Once you break the twig, you can add a wall frame to this side too. Before we add boxes, let's place our sleeping bags. The first one in front of the level 2. And if we flip the second one twice, it will fit very close to the first. We can fit 3 more, but we want to avoid blocking this frame. So using this one as a guide, we can continue the pattern with a little gap. As long as you put them opposite ways each time, they will fit easy. Might be wise to check if you can still seal the bunker though. Now once again, if you do not have all the materials to complete this right now, it's totally fine. But if you do have garage doors, all of these are in their final positions when the base is finished. Now we have 5 sleeping bags that people could respawn on and a bunch of space. So let's work on our loot room. We'll start on the bottom row with 5 large boxes. The first 2 go on the right side like so. Once those are in, the following 2 go all the way on the left side. For the middle one, you put your back against the wall frame and place it in the middle with even gaps on both sides. Now we want a few small boxes and a few barbecues. Rotate the barbecue in this exact orientation and place it as close to the wall as possible. A small box can go underneath it after. We'll mimic this on the other side. We'll grab 3 more barbecues and place them long ways right next to each other like this. Now the closer you get them to the boxes, the easier the boxes are to access. Now this is a slight improvement on the last iteration I used of this loot room. There is a bigger improvement on the top shelf, so let's go ahead and grab some more large boxes and some barbecues. One thing remains the same up here, that being the 5 large boxes. They will be exactly the same as the bottom shelf. I actually don't think there is a better way to place them, but if you have any ideas, let me know about them in the comments below. I actually lied. The barbecues at the ends up here will also be the same, but they have to be placed pretty good because it will be a tight fit up here. The ones on the end here pretty much make or break the deal. At the end, there will be a total of 7 barbecues on this shelf alone, which means we still have 5 more to fit in. When you get to where the 2 wall frames meet in the center, the barbecue should switch orientations but still fit snugly. Now I've only ever got this one in from up here once, so if you can't, you can always grab a small box on the floor, and once you stand on it, the final 2 will go in very easily. I say easily, but you do see me struggling here just a bit. There is a little bit of wiggle room in there, but I was shooting for perfection. Our last one should go in easy enough though. And as we break the box here, we could look at our improved loot room. There is a lot of space, 82 rows of storage to be exact. Now that we've glimpsed all the way into the future, let's resume back in the past. You can use this wall to place a couple of your first furnaces. You also have the option to put one here. I just want to say that our level 3 will eventually go in this spot, so keep that in mind. Everyone loves an in-house oil refinery, and we get to expand our front entrance while we build one. We're going to use a square surrounded by triangles, break the square, and wall in all around the triangles up until this spot with a wall frame. This will be our new front door, and we can put the ceiling on after. We'll use a temporary build-up so that we can get these 2 triangles into place to use as shelves later on. These rooms are customizable to your liking, but they should all get wall frames, and then we can place the bubbler in with the pipe valve on the right hand side. Use whatever doors you have available. The final ones will be garage doors, and you can see that they can all be placed with the bubbler already down. Honeycombing at this time is wise, so we'll build a square, a triangle, and 2 raised squares on the left here. Our final entrance airlock will be here. Eventually you want to get these to armored doors, but sheet is fine for a while. Now we can put these 2 roof tiles on and finish this 1x2 section over here. We'll wall it in, put a roof on it, and jump up to this part. This will be a utility room later on, but we can section it off for now. place a wall frame in this position, which you could add a door to now if you want to, but it's not required. From the outside, you can see we have fortified out front, but we are now lacking on our main core, so let's strengthen that up a bit. We can do this by adding 5 triangles around the 2x2 with a single square on the end here. We can wall this part off with the hard sides all favoring the 2x2 section. An easy way to do this is by adding these triangles on top of the foundations first. These triangles work as a great guide. When you're ready to place the full walls, make sure the first one has hard side facing out, and then you can pretty much run the perimeter, closing the triangles as you place them. Now horizontally, our base is fully honeycombed, but the top of the core is only stone, so let's add a second floor. This is easy enough. We'll wall in the core 2x2 and put a roof on. We'll intentionally leave this one open for an elevator room. We want the hard side of this wall to face the access point, and we can put a half-height floor through the middle. A wall frame goes here, and we can bring the elevator up one more level, which will give us a higher roof access as well. Once we get the walls placed, it is very important that the entrance up here is the same as the one below. Now we can place a garage door here, which will seal us from the top. If we take an aerial view, we can see our base now is much more significant. So when you start upgrading, the best place to start is the bunker entrance. So while we're up here, we'll upgrade this to sheet metal. With the foundations, you can do sheet metal first, but its final grade is HQM. Now we can upgrade all the half walls to sheet metal. We can break the furnace and place a metal half wall here. If we jump up and do the same thing to the other side, when it's finished, there is no way to soft side pick the high foundations anymore. Now we can upgrade all of the walls and ceiling that are directly attached to the bunker entrance. From down here, this half wall gets upgraded to HQM since it's considered a wall into the rest of the bunker. Now once you get to this part, you will need to place a ladder here to get in and out. Now a furnace will work here, but you would have to move it to seal the bunker. For the core of the bunker, you can once again use sheet metal first, but for the video, I will upgrade it all into HQM since that's what we're going for. We'll get the 2 ceiling tiles, this wall, and then the last 2 floor tiles. Now to get the back walls, you will have to pick up a barbecue and a large box. These can easily be put back into the correct positions. You could do the same on the top to get the roofs, but since we have upgrading to do on the second floor, we can simply upgrade them from above. Before we go up though, let's put in our level 3. Now I rotate it first to get it even closer to the TC. Once it's in, we could use the rotate trick to get 2 boxes in underneath it. This core is pretty much done at this point, so let's go to the second floor. Up here we can begin upgrading all of the core 2x2 to sheet metal. There will be honeycomb around the outside of this very soon. These 2 squares here are above the loot room, so upgrade them both to HQM. The elevator should also be upgraded to sheet metal. With walls being sheet metal, we are now ready to strengthen our door path since it becomes more likely for raiders to take when they see more and more sheet metal. If you have the resources at this point, you can take garage doors all the way through the second floor to the bunker entrance. If you have to, I would prioritize the garage doors above the 2x2 first since it slows down splashing through the core's roof, and you can always technically seal the bunker. Once those are in, it's important to upgrade this wall to HQM. If you have it available, you can put a garage door here. You could face it either way, but inwards I think is the best option. One last thing real quick here. Above the bunker entrance we have this triangle room. You could use it for furnaces I guess, but I believe walling it off may be better. With our second floor becoming more and more important, we're going to do some expanding. So starting on the roof, we can add this wall, and then we want to walk around the edge up here and bring all of the triangle honeycomb up one more level to our feet. If we cap this one, we can easily get this last one in by rotating the first wall, the second one, and jumping to cap it off. Then we can come back around and put triangles on top of the rest of them. We're going to add a third floor in, but we also want to create a door path up here to get us to a helipad in the front. We can now wall in the rest of the floor, and if we come back to the front with a single door, we can use it to seal ourselves off. If we add these 3 ceiling tiles, we can back it with another single door and we have an airlock up here. Now we can seal the roof except for this one, which is where our elevator will go. First we'll add a half-height floor through the middle and a wall frame in front of it. If we jump up, we can place the entrance on this side and follow it with the walls on the ceiling. Now if we have a look around, we can see we are definitely starting to take some shape and we have more and more options to defend from. We have more important stuff to do on the inside before we add a heli tower here, but it can be beneficial to add in the footprint up here now. To do this, we'll add 3 triangles on each side of the 2x2 with an extra triangle on each side. What this does is give us a small gap to work with from the roof, both for defense and for taking heli. For a helipad, we can add in a half wall and 2 squares hanging over the edge like this. Surround this with half walls and we have a decently protected area to land. There is enough stability like this, but I like to jump down and add in 2 stone foundations here and surround it with frames. This actually covers one of the sheet metal foundations later on, which is actually why it's here. With all the new additions to the base, upgrading it all is the next thing we'll do. So starting at the top, the first thing we could do is upgrade all of the walls around the 3rd floor to sheet metal. Once we are back at the starting point, we want to find the roofs above the bubbler room and jump down to upgrade them all to sheet metal as well. We can then jump down to the ground by the front entrance, and starting here, we're going to upgrade all the walls and the foundations underneath them. We'll want to go around the whole build and do this for every piece we can see on the 1st floor. If you're wondering how I'm doing this without accessing my upgrade screen, you just have to click both of your mouse buttons at the same time and the wall will go up 1 level in grade depending on if you have that material in your inventory or not. You can also upgrade this foundation but not the wall above it. Now there is one roof tile I will fly here to get. In order to do this in game, you'll have to either climb up or jump down from the roof. One last addition to the 1st floor, we'll be adding a piece of honeycomb between the 2 triangles on each side. This should be done with sheet metal. There will be a total of 3 additions here, and their purpose is to allow entry into one of the 4 squares in the core at a time if raiders decide to go through the walls. If we have a look around, the base is looking good. All the visible upgrading is done now, so let's go on the inside. The first wall we want to upgrade is literally the first one we come to. We can upgrade this foundation and replace this with a garage door. Pretty soon we'll work on this room, but we can secure it now with a door. We want to make sure we get these final 2 foundations and this lone ceiling tile. Now if we jump up and start making our way through the base, we can upgrade the rest of this elevator and all of the 3rd floor ceiling tiles. At this point in the wipe, you probably have the materials to make a few garage doors, so we can use them to section up the 3rd floor here. We'll add 1 on each side of our elevator here, and then 1 on the middle of the room. The first room we'll fill in is this 1x2 over here. We can fit our computer station here with a large box next to it. Once you get to this point, you'll probably want to section this room off with a door. Grab yourself 3 small boxes, which can all be placed next to each other this way, up against the wall. Grab 2 sleeping bags and an auto turret. The turret can go here, which cannot be drained from the front door. To give yourself more options, you can even place 2 sleeping bags next to each other in this room. The next room we'll build will contain both our repair bench and research table, along with a little bit of storage. We place the repair bench in this corner tightly, and the first small box all the way on the left. The second box should stick out just a tiny bit. We can jump up on it and grab a large box. Now we can place the research table in the left-hand corner. Take your time to get this as good as you can. Once in, you can place a large box under it. If everything is placed correctly, you can easily get out of this room just by crawling. Now for our bubbler room. We can easily add 3 furnaces to the right triangle right away. Jump up on this top shelf and grab yourself 1 large and 1 small box. The large one goes in first with the small one next to it. We'll do the same thing on the bottom half. Now we're going to do the same thing in this room, but in a slightly different way. Jump up and only place the large box on top. Now these boxes are a little bit harder to place since there's a lot of restricted movement here. Put the second large box in on the bottom, followed by the small one in this orientation. Now to get the small one in on the top, you'll have to place a box on the floor temporarily just to jump on for the time being. And that is our bubbler room done. Like I said way earlier, you can change where the shelves are to customize this room to your needs. Now for our second floor. We'll jump up, and I like to focus this around bedrooms. So for that, we can add a locker to this corner and place a bed in front of it. We can also fit a second bed in the other way. Grab yourself 2 small boxes, a large one, and a single furnace. We can place them all in the following way. This gives you a little bit of storage space to rekit with, or just some dump boxes. If we come back to the elevator, we can build a proper loot room here. Well, half of one at least. You can choose whichever one you think will fit best here. I will just go with my default one. The one I use has 20 rows of storage in 2 large boxes, 3 small ones, and 2 barbecues. The final thing we'll do here is we can add up to 2 large batteries on this half floor. I rotate the second one twice so that you can easily connect them up later. On the third floor, we'll pretty much do the same thing as we just did on the second floor. We can only fit 2 beds on each floor, with there being 5 bags in the main TC room. Adding 2 more beds up here just makes sense to me. We can actually get an extra small box right in here, which is kind of cool. These 2 small boxes here can go in the same position as below, but since this route will be traveled more often than the bottom, make sure the large box is out of the way. Now our final room here is right inside the door that leads out to our helipad. You can add 2 large boxes and 2 small ones here, similar to what we did in the bubbler room. This is great for some quick drop-in after you run the map with your minis. The heli tower should be the last thing you add to your base. To build it, the first thing we want to do is add a wall frame in all the slots around the 2x2. This isn't to add doors, it's for stability. Next we can build window frames around the outermost edge of the entire tower section. Now we build single door frames on the front part of the gaps on each side. We can follow that up by adding in the corresponding triangles as a ceiling above. Now for the door frames. Using single doors here, opening them restricts movement while maintaining visibility. Experienced players know that you can jump on someone's head and squeeze them through, and I think I actually have a fix for that. Adding a camera to the top here will make this impossible as long as the camera's in place. Remember to lock these doors and keep them open at all times, or they are actually pretty pointless. To complete this floor, you will need 12 windows of your choosing. Each window has an advantage and a disadvantage, so it's pretty much all personal preference at that point. I would avoid using wood ones though, because they are pretty weak overall. Some people wouldn't go higher than this floor. If that's the case, just fill in all the open spaces up here. If you do want to go up higher, add the ladder hatch to this slot. And that is pretty much the base. This looks very similar to my last 2x2 bunker design because it is. With stability bunkers being buffed in the last patch, the overall concepts were possible to design cheaper and more compact. There's even a couple of extra rooms in there. So I hope you enjoyed the video. There's a lot of new building pieces being added to the game in 2020, and I have many ideas on how to use them. So remember to subscribe to stay ahead of the building game. And yes, it's me.